Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
You
my
what?
video has been disabled. Cantor, you're muted.
Oh, I was. Yeah, fine. Light.
But speak to the mic.
Yeah, I'll put my microphone here so you can actually hear me speaking. Good morning. Well, as long as I've got everybody checking my stuff here, can you hear the piano?
Indeed.
Yeah, this is a famous. It's a famous piece of music called Hatikva.
But you always play it faster than we actually sing it in Israel.
Yeah, what can I say? Have 25 years of piano lessons. I can barely play chopsticks. It's very sad. I mean, I should be able to play Brahms and stuff. I can a little bit. Be
I know to play one Brahms piece. It's commonly related to sleeping, like before you go to sleep, kind of. Um,
The sound isn't great this morning with the
Well,
keyboard.
that's because I haven't clicked on the turn on original sound yet here. See now, if I turn
oh,
that on,
now you can see me.
the day the music died. Oh, and I mean that's probably the wrong song for this morning anyway. So, oh, okay. I am very grateful for helping me do this because, frankly, if you weren't doing this, it would be a complete disaster. But maybe in time, maybe I'll pick it up. I mean, the fact of the matter is that with these 8:30 get together. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful background that is. Well, so the back, what is that? The outback in
Yeah,
Australia,
just
mate.
looking
Is that
out,
what we're
out in
looking
the
at there?
backyard there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to change your name to Bruce because everything in Australia is Bruce. So,
We do have three attendees already online.
hey, is everybody configured the way that they're supposed to be?
Okay.
That's
Is
awesome.
that better?
That
Yeah.
is actually yes. Now you're beginning to remind me of me. So, yeah, Mo, Larry, and Curly. Yeah, pick two. Okay. All right. Now, I'm good. I'm good. I think we're good. I think we're good. So we got last night. I noticed that Rabbi Shaner had a hot Hatikva slide. So we're going to show a Hatikva slide this morning, in addition to everything else.
Did
And
did he send that?
it'll be nice because people can sing along. I
Right.
understand at noon on Sundays, everybody's supposed to sing "O Canada." Is that in fact what people are doing? They're singing "O Canada" at noon on Sundays? No, huh? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. I saw it on television.
Cantor, did Rabbi Shaner send the slide to you for Hatikva?
Oh, I I
I
had
haven't
kind of
received
hoped
it.
he had sent it to you.
No, he didn't.
Isn't that clever? Okay. I'll check my email. Hold on a second. I'll bet you he didn't send it to either of us. In which case, you know what? We'll do without.
So, Cantor, what's gonna be is that you're gonna sing, and then at some
Well,
point you're gonna say, "Here's our chin chin," and then we're gonna start speaking.
I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit of teaching on Psalm 48, which is you should know about Psalm 48, young man, because it's important. And then we'll do a Misha Berach Laholim, and then I'll introduce you, our man in Tel Aviv, and then I'll say, "Take it away," or
That's right.
not.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and then yeah, just don't blather too long, okay? Because people need to get on with their day. But
Yeah, yeah, I
I'll
have.
say,
I put a timer. I'm just putting a timer on. I would say 8 minutes, 10.
yeah, take 10. I think, and then as when you're done, we're going to show the fabulous Samachti video.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so, yeah, I did not receive that slide. So you know what? If it doesn't happen, or maybe I could just hold the book up to the screen, because I've got Hatikva and all these books here,
Well, I could
so
probably scan it. I could
I
probably
could
scan it.
probably, yeah, I could probably find it in the book here. Yeah, here it is. And then I'll just prop it up on the mic stand like that, and then try to play the piano at the same time. So, or I could just play it and sing it, and hopefully people remember the words.
Of Hatikva?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty memorable. I mean,
Well, you know what's interesting? Hatikva and Take Me Out to the Ball Game were both written by Jews. You realize that, don't you?
I actually have a. You like that? You like that? I went to one of the stores. I've been around my block recently, and one of the stores has this book. It's Tel Aviv City Stories.
I see that.
And one of the things that they have here, which you'll like, it's a list of famous Jewish people.
Famous Jewish people. Isn't that a contradiction of terms? And I guess not. I guess there are famous Howard Stern would be one, I suppose. A whole list of guys who have gone to jail recently in the States for having too much money and not knowing what to do with it, or their time, or other
Let's
parts of their
see.
anatomy.
I can find some.
Arnie, I just sent you a Hatikva you can put up as a slide.
Okay.
Thank you, Lance.
It's a very pretty one, too.
Oh,
It's got a
okay.
Magen David in the background. And
I even know what that is. That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that prayer for the IDF thing I sent you. Um, it, it, that's going to be like beautiful shots of the IDF. Young women standing on tanks with machine guns and marching and stuff like that. And then underneath, I was hoping to have like the translation of the text. You know, So it'll be nice. It'll be like the sort of thing that we would put on before we sign off on another television day. All right, Tales of Tel Aviv.
So, what do you want to hear about? There
Well,
is
tell me. Yeah, I have time for one famous Jew. Then my 70-year-old prostate is going to need a little bit of massaging here. So go ahead.
So let's pick something which you'd like. There was something about opera. Oh, there we go. Mamma Mia Figaro. That's how it's called. And it says, okay, everyone, who here loves opera? Neither do we. But Tel Aviv's got it. No further proof it's needed for Tel Aviv standing as an international city. If you've got opera, you've got everything. Want to
It's
meet
true.
the creme de la creme of Israeli high society? Then don't miss a trip to the opera house. The good news is that if you want to see the who and who, you don't need a ticket. Just the price of a cup of coffee, it's enough. To secure front row seats of people watching at a lovely cafe just a few steps away from the auditorium. So
Wow.
what they're actually saying that all the famous people, when they have a break, they go to the cafe nearby, which is actually a Landwehr's coffee, which you have in Toronto also.
Yeah, yeah. Toronto's got a great opera house, by the way.
No, I was talking about Landwehr's
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? No, one time I was in Tel Aviv, and some French teenagers came up, and I guess that they thought I was the man, and he started making fun of me in French, and it was hysterical. I did this kid in the speedo.
Yeah, we speak fast.
I said, "Okay, bye." They turned around and went into the restaurant and had my lunch. You know,
Yeah, my host family, when me and my girlfriend, which you saw yesterday, would speak in
yeah.
Hebrew with each other, they would say like that's normal speed. You were like yes, and they're like okay, you say something to him, and then wait. So one of them knew Hebrew, so I said a quick sentence in Hebrew, and they
Yeah.
need to authorize it. So it was this was like very surprised with how quickly we talk.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I did a lot of chaplaincy with the Boy Scouts in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most important things that I learned about that experience was that you can still speak slowly and be taken seriously. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a New Yorker, so there are times when I get excited, I will speak exceptionally fast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had a guy out there, one of the administrators, and I'd come up to him, we have a problem here. Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's go talk to Betty Brown and see if we can get this straightened out. And this man spoke nothing but wisdom. Nothing but wisdom came out of this man's mouth. His name was Dean Tooley.
So
And
you're saying sometimes less is more.
I'm saying, yeah. Well, as John Wayne once said, talk low, talk slow, and don't say too much. And that's good advice. I wish I could take it because I usually say way too much. Okay, I'll be back in about a minute. Don't keep the home fires burning, please. Oh,
Will do.
all right. Don't leave.
Wait, so who's still here?
It was Arnie's here and Lance. Where Arnie is taking the lead on the technical
Mm-hmm.
this morning.
So how are you guys in Toronto? How's things doing?
I've never been busier.
We've never been busier.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to see the Samakti video yet.
Not yet.
We played it last night. We're going to play it today during this presentation, but I put together the choir 26 voices video.
Whoa. I had to do some work with that myself too. Not as much voices, but we did as a Shinshinim a few ceremonies for Yom HaShoah and Yom HaZikaron both. And each of us recorded the piano or the guitar or the vocals. We had three vocals, guitar and piano. And I had each one at his house, different locations, and I
Right.
had to put it all together.
What did you use? Did you use Final Cut?
I used the GarageBand actually.
Really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
worked beautifully.
because I just got Final Cut to put it together, and that was a learning curve. It took me more than 50 hours to put it together last week.
Really?
Yeah.
So, well, so what I in GarageBand it's very simple. You have the get the recording, you can download the recording from Drive. And you can ask the people to upload it to Drive, and then get it straightforward to GarageBand, and then it just appears as a track, and
Hmm.
then you just put them above each other.
Yeah, that's what I did. So
Yeah,
it's the first of several we're going to do over the next couple months.
me and Kendrick Charles actually had an idea maybe to do a song which goes here's me, Cantor, Randy, and Sue maybe.
Yeah, yeah. You have to come up with some good words though. You got to have good words.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well.
All right. Not dumb words, but really good words. So
Yeah,
that's good. Yes, Devarim Tepishim. Oh dear.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, which is exactly the opposite of what we were talking about here. All right, so how are we doing? How are we doing here?
Now, Arnie's having problems with Facebook.
Well, that's not very good. Now you see, if he had less bandwidth like I do, then it would go much smoother. So I'm oh boy, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's fun. I have way too much fun usually when I do chapel services on Mondays. If we have a bar bat mitzvah, we'll come and do the chapel services. I usually have way too much fun doing those. So this will be a little bit of a throwback to those.
It's not bad. It's this is not. This is not Yom Zikaron. Yom
That's
Ha'atzmaut.
true.
You
That's
can make
true.
those laughs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad this. Oh, we've got some participants coming on. This is very, very nice. This is kind of the Cantor Osborne pre-show here. So
Someone's
I was
asking
wondering.
whether you can speak a little louder into your
Oh,
microphone.
that's right, because I'm so softly spoken. Softly, I will leave you softly. That's like a Letterman or something from a long time ago. Hello? I'll try to use my best announcer voice. Now, let's see a show of hands from everybody's on here. Who remembers this from their days of childhood? Texaco presents the Metropolitan Opera. And that was like one of my favorites. This week, La Gioconda. Anyway. Well, no, it was Milton Cross even wrote a book about the opera. But every week, Texaco. Uh, and they used to have some great singers. Oh my goodness. All right, 8:30, folks. Are we technically ready to rock and roll here?
The the Facebook Live is just says preparing and won't really connect. So I don't think we
Okay,
can.
I'll tell you what. I'll stall. How about that?
I don't think it's going to matter.
As- Well, as long as we get a slide up or at some point, that'll be great. Otherwise, I'll stall. Boker
Yeah,
Tov, everyone, and Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach, and welcome to the Temple Sinai Virtual Chapel. We have a wonderful program for you this morning in celebration of Yom Ha'atzmaut. And what I would like to do first is to discuss with you Psalm 48. Now, we hopefully will have a slide up in just a moment. However, I could get a book and read it to you. Just hold on a sec. Yes. Here we go. I don't have to use the book. Fantastic. Um, Psalm 48 is the psalm for the day for Monday. And as some of you may know, that every single day of the week has its own special psalm. Well, this happens to be the one for Monday. Now, you're probably going to say to yourselves, wait a second, it's Wednesday. I understand that. However, because it's Yom Ha'atzmaut, I wanted to start with this psalm, because it's an exuberant uh, description of the city of Jerusalem, but also because of something that happened to me personally years ago, which was one of the most meaningful things that happened to me in Israel. So this is, I'll read it to you in the English. A song, a psalm for the sons of Korach. Now, this is the same Korach who was destroyed in the wilderness and all of his family, and then a few hundred years later, his family are the chief musicians of the temple in Jerusalem. So maybe at some point in the near future, we'll come back and revisit this psalm, perhaps on a Monday. Anyway, a song, a psalm of the sons of Korach. Great is the Lord and highly to be praised. I suppose Yud He Vav He will say the eternal. For our purposes, great is the eternal and highly to be praised in the city of our God, his holy mountain. Fair in situation, the joy of the whole earth, even Mount Zion, the uttermost parts of the north, the city of the great king. God in her palaces hath made God's self known for a stronghold. For lo, the kings assembled themselves, they came onward together. They saw straightway, they were amazed, they were affrighted, they hasted away. Trembling took hold of them there, pangs as of a woman in travail. With the east wind thou breakest the ships of Tarshish. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God establish it forever, Selah. We have thought on thy loving kindness, O God, in the midst of thy temple. As is thy name, O God, so is thy praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion be glad, let the daughters of Judah rejoice because of your judgments. Walk about Zion, and go round about her, count the towers thereof. Mark ye well her ramparts, traverse her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. For such is God, our God, forever and ever. God will guide us eternally. Now, the part of this that resonates with me is walking about Zion, verse 13, go round about her, count the towers thereof, because in 1996 or 1997, we did exactly that. One of the little-known wonderful things about the Ir HaAtikah, the old city, is that you can actually traverse the entirety of the walls surrounding the city. You can walk right, just like the Great Wall of China. You've seen, this is a little bit smaller wall, but still, you can still traverse the entire circumference of the city. The best place to start is at the Jaffa Gate. And the reason for that, of course, is Jaffa Gate is the only place where there's a break in the wall. That's an interesting story in itself. What happened was in 1898, Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany came to visit Berlin, and the Ottoman rulers decided that he needed more pomp and circumstance to his visit to the city, so they removed a portion of the wall for his procession to pass through unimpeded, and now that break is the place where we get cars in and out of the city. In any event, it was an extraordinary event, and to be able to walk around the entirety of the city. If you decide you want to try it yourself at some point, just keep in mind that on Fridays they will not let you go around the wall by the Temple Mount. they get nervous about people up there. Well, there are so many people at the mosques on the Temple Mount, and what will happen is you come down a side staircase into the shuk, into the Muslim quarter market, the bazaar, which you may or may not want to do. It's up to you. But if you go on a Thursday, you can go right around. So this psalm really resonates a great deal with me, and I wanted to start with it this morning. Let's take a moment or two to pray on behalf of those who are ill. These are interesting and trying times in which we live, and as we turn our thoughts to those who are ill this morning, please hold in your hearts not only the victims of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also the people who are working so hard to bring it to an end. The people who are working so hard to keep our magnificent city and country running. And one other thing, this wonderful saying that's now in the Reform liturgy, and I think that it's something we should hold on our hearts and minds constantly, which is pray as if everything depends on God and act as if everything depends on you. So we offer God our prayers as we go out wearing our masks and taking care of both ourselves and our fellow citizens. And we hold this in mind as we pray, Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yirapeh kol makotenu yihi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu l'hachlimam u'rachotam v'yishlach lanu mehira refuah shlema v'ateret shalom v'nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength, reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and together we say, Amen. Now we have a special guest all the way from Tel Aviv. Some of you will recognize Elad Azrieli.
Elad Arieli.
Yes, that too. And one of our magnificent youth representatives of Israel, one of our Shinshinim this year. He's holed up in Tel Aviv and taking good care of himself, but he wanted to come on this morning and share some thoughts with us on this Israeli Independence Day. So as I said, I would take it away.
Thank you so much, Cantor Osborne. It's amazing to have this opportunity. Although I cannot see, as usual, if we compare it to VAR, I cannot see all of you, and I wish I could. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all feeling good and not too bored from this situation. And if you are too bored from the situation, I'm here. I hope to entertain you and to give this day some meaning. So I'll start with the situation in Israel. So we are starting to get bright skies, and we're now currently on lockdown because it's Yom Ha'atzmaut, and nobody wants too much people doing barbecue all around. So there is a lockdown. But this week I'm in Tel Aviv, as Cantor Osborne mentioned, and all the stores were open. As you see, I got my haircuts done, and we're pretty much starting to loosen restrictions. Hopefully it will not cause another breakup. And this year, especially after going through the experience I've been through in Temple Sinai, although it was shortened, I feel different as an Israeli. And I feel different going through Yom Ha'atzmaut. And I'll explain that. Before getting to Canada and experience Judaism in Temple Sinai, I grew up in a place which is mostly secular. And I didn't get to close interactions, even with traditional Jews, which only keep the halacha, and they, in a very light version, only Shabbat and not too much more. They're not Orthodox. I came to touch only with them around when I was 14, and that's because I chose to. There was a group that do summer camps of kids from secular places and kids from more traditional slash religious places, and I chose to go to that camp, and I didn't met any other people. So until then, in my high school, everyone was secular, and there was even a tone of um, disliking the religion. Because in Israel, the problem that is being up there with religion is that the ultra Orthodox are the face of the religion. And as a secular, to have that face of the religion, I don't blame anyone to dislike it, at least when it's young, and he doesn't see the complexity about stuff. And Temple Sinai changed the face of Judaism for me. Temple Sinai made me realize that Judaism isn't just those guys who are going around the streets in the summer like dressing like penguins. It's also a beautiful thing that happens in Temple Sinai. It changed my perspective about how can I keep my Judaism. And it got me even deeper in the belief that you can keep your own Judaism the way that suits best for you. And I thought about that. I thought about that this Saturday, living in this apartment with my girlfriend, that I was playing music on Shabbat, and also played in my wake, which often goes along in Temple Sinai services. And I thought about that if someone's going to tell me right now that I should stop what I'm doing because it's Shabbat and it's interrupting him, I'll have a different answer than I had a few years earlier. My answer will be that yes, I do understand that it's against the rules that are common in Israel, but this is how I practice my Judaism. And if I wasn't been in Temple Sinai, there is a strong chance that my Jewish identity would go much more narrower than it is today. It would just disappear because I was keep seeing the same people. I would be keep seeing the same environment, which is secular and don't really aware of the reform movement and the reform Jewish values. So for that, for giving my Jewish identity a second chance, I thank Temple Sinai. And also to share the thought that it's so funny that an Israeli boy needs to travel all the way to Canada to discover parts in his Jewish identity. And I have no doubt that my life would look differently if I haven't been in Temple Sinai. And after that said, one of my conclusions from that, and it's kind of funny, but I think it's a good conclusion, that Israel has to have a prime minister that sees himself as a leader, not only as the people in Israel. This leader has to see himself as a leader of all Jews in the world. This Yom Ha'atzmaut has been very different from every other time. Every time in Yom Ha'atzmaut, in my where I live up north, it's a big festival. All the people around. You have inflatables. You have a ceremony, and you have a torch lighting event, and you see all the people around you, and you do it together, and everybody is happy because this country has survived another year. And with all going around the world, good and bad, you see that anti-Semitism haven't stopped yet. And having this country is amazing. And when I sat to dinner at our porch, um, I said, if there is one day that I cannot be sad in that day, it's Yom Ha'atzmaut. Because it's in every one of the prayers in Temple Sinai that the state of Israel makes a big difference, and it's so important. It can be seen in every chapter of the service we do on Saturday. It concludes, starts, and has inputs within it of the state of Israel. And I hope that ours being strong, and I can give you an insider input because my mother is on the team to find a vaccine from the Biological Institute of the government. And we're very close, and that's a good feeling. So as we go strong forward, I want you to be strong too and have um, a very good dealing with what's about to be, whether if it's better situations or prepare for something a bit better. And I want to say thank you for everything it was that, because we are going to finish our Shnat earlier than thought so on June 1st. And um, not having this uh, feeling of, after going through a harsh week in Bialik, in Temple Sinai, to put on my suit and to go to Temple Sinai and to see all the people and say Shabbat Shalom to everyone and hear the prayers and the songs, and to give my dvar once in a while, and to have lunch with any member of the congregation once in a while. It's gonna something that I'll be missed for the long term in my life. And it left some very deep changes in how I'm gonna go forward with my Jewish identity and generally in life. So with all that, I want to say thank you, stay safe, and have a really nice rest of the week. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you for our technical team, Lance and Arnie, and have a nice week.
And thank you so much. You know that once a shin at Sinai, always a shin at Sinai. And so we'll send you a virtual hug now with the hope that at some point we'll be able to give you a real one. And yeah,
Thank you.
isn't it amazing be able to talk instantaneously halfway around the world? I'm never failed to be amazed at what we're able to do technically these days. But now, speaking about amazing technical feats, we're going to have a rare treat. This is a repeat broadcast of the Temple Sinai Ensemble Choir virtual choir performance of my piece Samachti Be'omrim Li. This is Psalm 122. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Eternal One.
Samachti be'amri,
you so much. That's my technical staff this morning is Arnie Lean and Lance Gitter, and without them, it would have been nowhere nearly as smoothly produced as it has been. But yeah, these kids will go far, and we're already working on our next major production, so stay tuned for that one. Let's take a few moments now to turn our thoughts to those who have passed, to those who yard sites we remember, and to those who have passed away in recent days and weeks. And this morning we hold in our hearts Sidney Burns, Ann Williamson, Henry Schneider, Gloria Victor, Dorothy Besser, Harvey Leopold, George Bernard, Lauren Barsky, Hannah Glatter, Ruth Kellman, the victims, the 22 victims of the hellacious shooting in Nova Scotia. Also Marsha Mason this morning and Pauline Milrod. Their memories are with us as we rise and offer these words of praise and thanks to God. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba be'alma divrach yidute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevarach l'olam ul'olmei amaya יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה ברכו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. And may the one who makes peace in the high heavens grant peace to us and to all Israel and to the entire world. And let us say, Amen. We're going to close our program this morning with the singing of Hatikva, and I hope that you will all join me in singing it quite forcefully and loud and enthusiastically so that we can hear all of you over the sound of the 401. Before that, offer this prayer on behalf of the state of Israel. Eloheinu v'Elahei avotenu v'imotenu, eternal God of all generations, within our heart of hearts and in the deep recesses of the Jewish soul lies a hope, the hope of 2,000 years, the hope of today and tomorrow, that a people who took root in a land might grow and blossom on ancient soil, that a nation might bring prophetic visions and eternal values to life, that a country in search of a dream might find safety and shalom, that a Jewish state might offer acceptance within and receive it from without, that we might prove that if we will it, it is no dream, to be a free people in our own land, Eretz Sion v'Yerushalayim. Leva benimo nefesh Yehudit Sophia Uhate Mizrach Kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia Od Yavna Tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Yerushalayim. Boker Tov, Boker Or, and Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach.